Good morning. My name's Sheila Hamilton, and I'd like to give you some insight into my experience of living with someone with a mental illness. Contrary to what Dr. Phil is going to tell you, people with mental illness don't howl at the moon. Their behaviors are very elusive, they're intermittent, and oftentimes they're very, very confusing to understand. And I should know because I lived with someone with bipolar disorder for almost 10 years. And I didn't find out until much too late how sick he really was. I want to give you a snapshot of David's illness. Have you ever felt rage and not understood why? Or maybe you disconnect from your family in a way that you're not completely understanding why. You might be sleeping too much or sleeping too little. You might be eating too much or eating too little. The activities that you once loved hold absolutely no appeal and you don't understand why. And then maybe you get a reprieve from it. There's a few weeks when you actually feel better. You reconnect with your family. You promise yourself you're going to be a better person. You begin doing the activities that you loved. And then that window closes and your brain goes dark. And it's a burden just to breathe. And in order to cope with the feelings of shamefulness and despair, you drink and you cheat and you lie, denying that these recurring depressions are happening even as your symptoms are becoming more frightening. Your family and friends don't know what to do. You deny you need help again and again, and as you self-stigmatize and withdraw, your illness gets worse and worse. Now throw in a few traumas. The death of your father, whom you never got along with. Your partner of 10 years is leaving you. And your business, which you were struggling to keep afloat, is crumbling. You can't sleep, and so a well-meaning friend who's a physician offers you an antidepressant. Within 2 days of taking that antidepressant, you're thrown into your first manic episode. You have akathisia, which is a skin-crawling condition in which you can't stand yourself. You can't sleep. You pace all hours of the night. It induces suicidal thoughts. So you find a friend's gun. You fire a few shots as a warning. And now you're hospitalized against your will. A nurse who doesn't know you takes your clothes, takes everything from you that could be considered harmful or sharp. A doctor who has only 15 minutes to spend with you gives you more drugs. And when those drugs don't work, gives you even more drugs to counteract the side effects of the other drugs. By the end, you're on 13 different medications. And when you ask what there is to do in the hospital, they give you crayons and a coloring book. You've got to get out of there. And so you lie. One day after my partner's release from the psychiatric ward, he drove to the most beautiful place in Oregon, the Columbia Gorge, sat down next to a tree, and completed suicide. This is my experience of my partner's illness, but in conversations with hundreds of other families who have cared for someone with brain illness, there's some things that are the same. That sense of denial, the sense of confusion, and the sense of guilt. Their illnesses wax and wane. They're not easy to detect, and it's even more difficult to get good care. If our mental health and our medical systems are not changed to stop re-traumatizing the people who are in crisis, our rate of mental illness is going to continue to climb. And if we can't do a better job of recognizing the sometimes elusive symptoms of mental illness, especially in our highest functioning people, our rate of suicide undoubtedly will continue to climb. We lost 41,000 people last year to suicide. It's now the second leading cause of death in our teenagers. And 26 veterans per day are completing suicide in the United States of America. The strange thing, half of those people are under the care of a doctor. That means we're really doing something wrong. We've got to start bringing hope to people. We've got to give psychiatrists and psychologists and clinicians much better tools for treating their patients, and we must share stories of success. There are promising new methods that infuse treatment with a much higher expectation of recovery, and they rely a lot less on drugs and much more on engaging families, community, you. Recovery from mental illness is possible. we should demand it. Thank you.